And
So Xenoblade Chronicles, right? Fucking
all-time favorite JRPG. Yeah.
Your all-time favorite JRPG. Did you play it when it first came out or no?
I did play it. I did buy it on the Wii. The whole what was it called? The Operation Rainfall, I think it was called at the time.
Yes, when all the fans campaigned to bring over these games that Nintendo of America didn't want to localize.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Nintendo came in, which I was glad.
So I kept trying to play this game for so many years, but there was like, okay, so it first came out on the Wii, right?
Yeah, I did buy it on the Wii. It came out. Yeah, I ended up buying it.
Yeah, so it came out on the Wii, and I don't know if I was in school or I didn't have a job. I don't know what the case was, but I was like, oh, I'll get it later. And then when later came, the game's fucking like $80, $120 or whatever, like at GameStop.
Right, yeah, that's right. It was only out for like, I don't know if it was for the first few months or something. I don't know, but I just know like, given it the day it came out, like short amount of time, like you can't find it.
Yeah,
GameStop was trying to like sell it for like double the price.
Yeah, so it was only really like affordable, I think, when it first came out, like the first month or so, the first couple months.
The first month, yeah.
And then eventually, I think people realized it was like a short print, like they weren't gonna keep printing it like they do all these other games, so it became more sought after, and that's when the price went up to like maybe $70. And then I think eventually Nintendo was like, oh, people want to buy this, so we're going to make more copies. And then when they... so the problem with that was that I think GameStop was the exclusive publisher. Like they were selling it. Like you couldn't get it at like Best Buy or anything.
Yeah, you know what? Because I remember... Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
So when GameStop would get copies of it, they would like open them up and then put them on the shelf as used. Because they could sell them on the news, yeah. They would sell them as used for like 90, almost like $100. As opposed to new when they would only get $30 for it. So that shit never happened. That's why I never played it then.
Okay. And, yeah, I remember. I got lucky actually because I think if you bought it, like if you pre-ordered it, came with like an art booklet, which I still have.
Oh, nice. No,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
It came with it at the time. Last Story had a collector's edition. I don't think Pandora's Tower had one.
Okay.
I recall, but
Last Story is another one I've always wanted to play. I think it's also kind of hard to get now, but I don't know.
I wouldn't trust GameStop, but I've probably seen like one copy, but it's still hard to find.
Yeah.
I remember getting far. I don't think to me it's like I don't think it's as good as Xenoblade in my opinion, but I think it's still a really good game in terms of like what the story's about.
Yeah,
characters that are in there.
It seems like they tried really hard to make Final Fantasy. To make a new Final Fantasy without calling it Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think it was one of those people that we used to work for Square or Squaresoft, wherever the company was called, and he made his own game or something.
Just like the fucking name is like the last story. It's like, you mean the Final Fantasy? Like that's as close as close as you can get to it. Okay, so I never played it on Wii, and then it got a re-release like maybe 5 years later on the 3DS.
That was a 3DS version, yeah.
It was 3DS version, and then I think I downloaded it because I had like the 3DS with the free shop, and you could just download any fucking game you want on it. So I did that. But one of the big selling points of Xenoblade Chronicles are like the giant vistas, like the big level of scale that the game has.
Yeah, that's right.
And you really don't get that in the 3DS because it's like really lower res than even the Wii version. So like,
really, I didn't know that.
So when you see these big landscapes, it's like it looks so tiny. So then I was like I can't do this.
It was meant to be on the console, it looks like.
Yes. So then eventually they announced it for the Switch, and I was like, okay, cool, finally, on a console, relatively HD, and I can play it on my TV, and it doesn't look like, because the Wii version now, if you look at it, it looks almost like a fucking PS2 game. Like the models are really like rough, but
it looks so bad. Yeah, characters is particularly.
But it's like the trade-off because the game is so big and like such a large scale that like the Wii, like they have to cut, they have to cut corners somewhere to make it look that big,
Yeah, if you wanted to compare like say Super Mario Galaxy, or like even maybe at the time any of the Zelda games, and you would see you would want to compare it to Xenoblade in terms of that what you're talking about.
Yeah.
To get somewhere, or you see like a landmark or you know what I mean. You'll get there, but in those games, it's like, man, they couldn't even top it at the time.
Yeah,
That's like actually the major reason one of the major reasons I fell in love with Xenoblade, just because of it was a Wii game and it was able to do that, you know.
Like there's nothing on the Wii that's that level of scale of like the size of it. Like just I think Gower Plains or whatever. Like when you first get there, you're like, holy crap! Like there's so much room here.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it baffled me at the time. I was like, how did they do this? You know?
So it kind of makes sense that like the character models had to take a hit for them to like produce to make a level like that looks like that, you know. So that, and then eventually I played it on the Nintendo Switch, and that's pretty much the one I'm gonna refer to most of this game. I mean, most of this podcast.
Okay. We enjoyed the game though.
It was really good. So the first thing I want to talk about is the combat of Xenoblade Chronicles.